You don't have to. It's not the law. Take it off. I'm going to take mine off as soon as we start. I am. I'd like to call, you guys are already standing. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Please, if we could all stand for our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much. Remind people to silence their cell phones. Clerk, please call the roll.
Trustee Greer.
Here.
Trustee Kahn.
Here.
Trustee Minks.
Here.
Trustee Thill.
Here.
Trustee Travis.
Here.
Trustee Whitco.
Here.
All present, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. I need an approval of our minutes from our regular meeting of September 13th, 2021.
Make the motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting, September 13th, 2021.
I second that.
Motion is made by Trustee Mink, seconded by Trustee Khan. Any discussion, questions, clarification? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Special reports, summer photo contest winners. That was themed Summer in Morton Grove. This will be announced by the Community Relations Commissioner, Patrick Baldwin. Patrick? Ars, did you want to? You're letting him
wants to come up, yeah. Good evening. My name is Patrick Baldwin. I'm proud to serve the village as Commissioner on the Morton Grove Community Relations Commission with our Celia Pimentel. The Commission's purpose is to foster, encourage, and improve our sense of community through positive interactions among all residents, regardless of age, gender, religion, national origin, or economic status. I'm pleased tonight to represent the CRC in announcing the winners of our most recent photo contest, Summer in Morton Grove. There were a lot of outstanding photographs to choose from, which made the judges' decision very difficult, but I am proud to present the 5 winning photographs this evening. I would like to call the winners down to the front and ask them to stand by their photograph. Several are not here, but I'll say their names. Sidra Ahmed. Oh, you are here, all right. Jocelyn De Jesus. Christopher Noel, our child winner. Jean Goldrosen. And VJ Shah.
Yeah, we got one.
All right. And congratulations to our overall winner, VJ Shah. We'd like to invite Mayor DeMaria and Trustee Travis down to join in taking a photograph with our winner. Over there in front of the picture. Oh, yeah.
Outstanding. Great job. Good job.
Thank you. And our fall photo contest, which begins today, will be open only to high school students. We look forward to the creativity students can bring in sharing their experiences with going back to school or life around town. The photo contest will run between now and December 1st. Students can submit their photographs on the Village Hall website. I'd also like to encourage and invite everyone and anyone who is interested in serving our village to join the Community Relations Commission. We meet on the second Tuesday of each month at 6:30 here at Village Hall. Our next meeting is October 12th at Village Hall, my birthday, so if you bring gifts, that's awesome.
Nice.
You can find out more information on the village's website. Everyone is welcome to join. Thank you.
Thank you, Patrick. Thank you, Ars. We do have a public hearing tonight, so I am going to open our public hearing here at 7:04. Public hearing is now open. Ralph?
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate that. I'll have Bob Richlicki come to the table here, and he'll assist with the presentation and understanding of this. Thank you for opening it. I wanted to do a summary of, as part of the agenda, a summary of the hearing notices. There was a public notice. It was published in the Government Legal Pioneer North by the Chicago Tribune. On this hearing was published on Thursday, September 2nd, 2021, and Thursday, September 9th, 2021. All of that is based on Illinois statutes for the TIF Act and with the requirement therefrom. So that satisfies that one item of the agenda. And also, item number 3 is a report of the Joint Review Board. Let me pull that out so I speak appropriately. With proper notice and certified mailings, on August 26, 2021, a joint review board was held on this topic here at the Village Hall, and public bodies were provided an opportunity to attend. At the end of that joint review board, which summarized some of the material that we will discuss today in this public hearing, the TIF for the Lincoln-Lehigh TIF district were discussed. In attendance and giving a positive vote towards this was the Morton Grove Park District, Morton Grove School District 70, Niles Township High School District 219, Cook County, and Niles Township Government, along with the Village of Morton Grove. That passed, and a resolution was established by that joint review board panel. Some of those members may be here this evening and may give some comment if they desire. So at that, we wanted to introduce written comments. The village clerk provided me with some written comments that were given for residents to make comments, and we'll do that later on. And those comments were from Frank Wang, TIF for Park District or Parkview School, Gia Schultz, proposed TIF, agenda item public hearing, and Kim Conley, TIF for Metra. At the appropriate time, public comments will be have an opportunity to present after we've given an overview of the TIF. For the overview, I think the best person to do it is our consultant, Bob Schlicke. And Bob, I'll turn the meeting over to you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good evening, everyone. Good to see you again. As part of the legal process that Ralph indicated that the village has to follow, there is the requirement for this public hearing. No action would be transacted by the board tonight. You would just, we go over the summary of the TIF district, and then the village board would take any comments, and then you could close the hearing. You have to wait a minimum of 14 days, but no more than 90 days in which to introduce and adopt the ordinance.
I think you're having a difficult time hearing you for the microphone.
Okay, sorry.
Is that correct?
How's the, well, I don't know if it's on.
It's on.
Oh, it's on?
Just got to be close.
Okay, well,
There you
there
go.
you go. Okay, so again, this is part of the legal procedure that the village is doing as it relates to the undertaking of the TIF designation. No action would be taken by the board tonight. You would have to wait 14 days minimum and no more than 90 days in which to adopt the ordinances or bring the ordinances for consideration to the board. If we go to the next slide, Ralph. Keep going if you would. So the redevelopment project and plan is just that. Under TIF Act, there are requirements that the village conform this plan to its comprehensive planning process. The TIF itself does not usurp or take it over any of your entitlement and planning processes over time, but it's more a supplement of a financing tool that the village could utilize, similar to what you've done in other areas at Sawmill and at Lehigh Ferris and several other districts that you've had and have now been closed out. If we could go. So the plan is very specific as to certain objectives, in this case mixed use. You want to accomplish redevelopment. The idea is to finish up some of the work that was done in the Lehigh Ferris TIF and use TIF as a method of coordinating development. Again, we got a pretty compressed, compact area, And the idea is to utilize TIF in order to achieve certain village planning objectives. Have we keep going, Ralph? So again, pursuant to the TIF Act, we have to conform to your comprehensive plan, which we do. We have to have the notifications, which we've gone through. We have to have certain criteria, which we'll get into a little bit, that the area qualifies as a conservation area. And you make the finding that but for the TIF, the development that you envision or want to achieve would not occur but for utilization of the TIF program, which you've done in the past. You know, general goals and objectives have been to promote the redevelopment, both aesthetically and infrastructure within the area, maintain mixed and industrial uses, as well as commercial. Well, we've lost our,
Houston, we've had a problem.
yeah. But I do have the text with me.
Okay, well, it'll be okay. I'm sure that our technician, maybe, I'll take a, Tom, could you see if Boyle's available? Is he coming? The door is opening.
He's drilling in. He said,
I like the finches, those are nice.
I'm impressed that you knew they were finches.
Oh, we used to have finches all over our house.
I got Bob Marley playing in my head.
Or Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah.
While that's being done, I could just point out, to finish up that one slide that we stopped on. Again, the TIF is an adjunct. It goes in supplemental to what your planning and zoning requirements are. And again, we'll get to the map, and you'll see it's a very compressed or compact area.
Bob, could you, as long as we're taking a little
Yeah.
pause here, I really would like you to emphasize the fact that this is a financial tool. This is not a development of what's going to go on in
Correct.
space.
That's a great point. Whatever is proposed for that area, whether it's mixed use or residential or reuse of industrial, has to come before the village board as per normal. Any zoning request, any entitlement, any permits that would have to be considered, any redevelopment agreement, once you make a decision that you want to utilize TIF, this is more of an umbrella, the TIF plan. It's a skeleton in which the board can make decisions on a very specific case-by-case basis. So at this juncture, the plan itself, again, the main features are we identify the area, we identify a potential budget, which you may or may not need, and we identify general land uses. The board itself, on a case-by-case basis, that's a very important point, would consider projects as they are presented or projects that you may initiate.
And they would go through our full procedural control process.
Correct.
Appearance, traffic,
Of course.
planning, zoning, and then permitting process after that.
And again, as the TIF is a financing plan, and we went over this at the public meeting with some of the taxpayers, residents had been attending, it's not a new tax. Even though the word tax increment is in the title, it's not a new tax. Under Cook County procedures and the state of Illinois Constitution, all property is taxed uniformly, all property is assessed uniformly, whether you're in or you're outside of the TIF. What happens is if there's an increase over, quote, the base taxes or the increment, that is retained by the Village of Morton Grove in the special tax fund to spend within the boundaries of that map that that you're going to see. It's basically the area that's to the west side of the Lehigh Ferris TIF and right before the Forest Preserve property. You know, the two graphics, Ralph, that we would have would be the map and the budget. Maybe I'll go over the other items.
Yeah, I would keep it rolling.
Let's keep it rolling. The area, as I mentioned, has to qualify under Illinois law. We made the finding, Kane McKenna with the village staff, that the area qualified as a conservation area. And what does that mean? Well, 50% or more of the buildings have to be 35 years or older, and that is obviously the case in terms of the residential and some of the industrial buildings that are there. So we made that finding. And then you have to have a minimum of 3 out of 13 factors that are present. We found that there were 6 factors.
Can we bring the projector down from?
So what we identified were obsolescence. We identified inadequate utilities, lack of community planning, deleterious land use or layout, and a lag or decline in equalized assessed valuation, which may change with the 2020 values, but we still have enough factors. We still, even if that one drops out, and we'll have to confirm that, you would still have 5 factors in the area would qualify, because again, you only need 3. We also had a budget, as I indicated. There's a legal description and a map for the area, and the budget has a total of $46 million. That is a ceiling. That's over a 23-year period. It may or may not be used. Again, the board would have to approve and make a decision to use TIF funds, and the TIF funds, of course, have to be there. You have to have the projects or the valuation that increases over time and supports the incremental taxes that in turn can fund the budget, and the village has various options. Again, pay-as-you-go or any kind of other bond funding. They could utilize whatever is needed pursuant, again, to the characteristics of the project or the requirements of the village board and your fiscal position. So as it stands, the proposed uses we identified were residential, retail, and commercial, as well as institutional. This area is anchored by the Metro train station that's there. The proposed budget, as I indicated, was $46 million, and that's over a 23-year period. The base CAV, and this is the area, the valuation that the taxing districts would continue to receive. Their levy would be on the $5 million. Anything over that would accrue to the benefit of the TIF fund. And in terms of, is it worth it, we made some projections, Kane McKenna with assistance of staff. Again, and these are assumptions based on market data, that the TIF the value could increase from $5 million to $45 or $50 million, again, based on the amount of development and the marketplace over the next 23 years. We also have a housing impact study, given a number of residential units that are within the TIF, and again, this is a requirement under the TIF Act. That is also included as an appendix to the TIF plan, and also 2 land use maps for existing uses and for proposed uses. So in summary, the overall budget cannot be exceeded. That $46 million number is set forth for a reason. It's over 23 years, which is the life of the TIF district. You do have flexibility in that budget. We can shift items between the line items, again, as long as you do not hit the total. And expenditures, as per normal, would have to be reviewed by the village board on a case-by-case basis, depending on the project or infrastructure or other needs that the village identifies over time. So we're about in the finish line, getting near the finish line, as I said earlier, for this process. We've had extensive series of notices for both taxpayers, newspaper, residential addresses within 750 feet. We notified both the state of Illinois and all the taxing districts of record. They had signed off. And we're at the point now where once the public hearing is closed, again, you got that waiting period of 14 days. The board, after that 14 days, could consider the designation of the district. Oh, there we go. And the actual ordinances would be filed with Cook County. So this is the area, as you see. It's basically bisected a little bit by Main Street toward the south. You've got the railroad right-of-way off to the east and the forest preserve to the west. Most of the uses where the red dot is, as we go up a little north, there's some residential. Industrial and commercial are basically to the south. And also there's some vacant area on the train station up to the north and the northeast. So again, as I said earlier, it's a compact area. It was selected because we initially did look at a larger area. This was selected because the village thought this would have the most chance of getting redeveloped in a shorter period of time, and there's been some interest in some of the properties. So that was the basis for this map. And on a technical basis, properties north of Main are in Lehigh Ferris. If they would be moved out, there would be an amendment to Lehigh Ferris, and those properties would now become part of the new TIF district. So that would
So in general, we actually looked at all the way down to Oakton Street.
Yes, we did.
We already to Austin, and we considered the fact what's going to happen in these industrial areas. We didn't think that the time was right, based upon the fact that they're still active in those areas, and to burn the time just to hold them in that area would be inappropriate to run a TIF, and it'd be pretty time-consuming for staff to monitor all that, and it just wouldn't be appropriate to do that. If something changed in that area, if one of those major manufacturing agencies shut down, which we don't see, both of them are prospering. Crane Packing and Xylem have indicated to us that they're closing facilities other places in the country, but not here. They're actually putting money into these facilities. So to include them would just be inappropriately administrative. But we looked at it just to make sure we were doing the right things, and looked at this narrow and small space because this area down here is currently abandoned. That's a factory that's abandoned. We got a piece, there's another piece of property here at 8300, 8350. All of that is not in use. And then in the area around Chestnut, that's already a parking lot and a grassy area. So those pieces of property are not developed and are ready to be developed. So they made sense to enter into it at this time. Okay. All right, let's continue on the agenda. Gave an overview and summary of the TIF plan, public comments and discussion. We had 3 indications of public comment. Is there an order anybody wants to go in, or should I just call somebody up? Yep, okay. You're drafted.
I've been volunteered.
Yes.
Good evening. Can everybody hear me?
Yep,
Okay,
great.
good. Hello, my name is Gia Schultz, and I'm a resident of Morton Grove. I live and own a home on Elm Street, which is within the proposed TIF district. I have attended all the meetings regarding this proposed TIF, and I have a few concerns about plans for the area that have been floated during those meetings. I'm not here to complain about development in Morton Grove or dissuade this board from approving the new TIF. I'm here to ask that further considerations and planning go into the proposals that have been brought to the village by developers, and ask that the village adopt ordinances that would guide future development within the village. I would like to see Morton Grove take a stronger stand for environmental planning provisions, like environmental impact reports for any new development. It is also time for Morton Grove to institute ordinances for complete streets. We need better ordinances in place so there is a guide for developers which reflects the village's sustainability plan and are inclusive of walking and biking paths, access to public transit, and comprehensive planning for crosswalks and dark sky certified traffic and streetlights as needed. I have a deep concern about traffic related to their proposal of 350 plus units of housing in an area that is already poorly laid out for traffic flow and congested multiple times a day due to Metra and other commuters. 3 different developments have been proposed: a 200-unit development, a 90-unit development, and a 60-unit mixed-use development with apartments above and businesses below. This is a lot of new housing in an area not designed for residential traffic. During the planning and approval for Sawmill Station, I was a part of a group of residents who came and called on the village to require developers to include fair housing in any new developments. The village responded at the time that these requirements must be put in place sooner, and that Sawmill Station was already too far along to require fair housing for the condo development complex that is still being built today. Given the timing of this new TIF approval and the developers that are already sending in proposals for the area that include many units of housing, I'm asking that the village put in place a requirement for fair housing for any new developments that would be created in this new TIF district. Fair housing is important to the development of our village, and we should be maintaining and growing our fair housing options in the village. Any new housing developments need to have a requirement for fair housing inclusion. Lastly, at the Joint Review Board meeting for this proposed TIF on August 26th, the superintendent of Parkview School District 70 stated that the current school building is not able to accommodate more students. As a parent of 3 children who attended and currently attend Parkview School, I can speak to the overcrowding firsthand. My 6th grader has been in overcrowded classes since joining the school in 1st grade. In our 2nd year at the school, my then middle schoolers had electives like language, world languages, music, and art reduced due to crowding and lack of space. Parents have repeatedly asked the school district 70 board for class size reduction and are always told that there is no more classroom space available and that there will be no reduction in class sizes. While Parkview School is currently considered a top school and is often a reason families move to this area, with continued overcrowding and a lack of space for classes to be held, this school will quickly decline. It is imperative not only for our children's education, but also for our property values to keep Parkview a top-performing school that isn't overcrowded and forced to cut programming due to lack of space and funding. With the new housing units proposed in this TIF, the overcrowding issues in the district will only increase. Thank you for your time and for considering these urgent matters related to the approval of this new TIF.
Thank you, Jim. Kim? Okay. All right. Anyone, we have another one?
One more.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. My name is Frank Wang. I live on Linder, 9100 Linder. And, first of all, I want to say thank you for everyone coming out here. I think just to echo her sentiments, she said it greatly, but I'm one of the incoming families that have moved into Morton Grove these past couple years because of that fact. This is such a great community. I grew up in Skokie, and I've seen a lot of my friends move back into this community due to the fact of Parkview and the level of education a lot of the kids have gotten. My two kids, I've got a 10-year-old and an 8.5-year-old, and they both attend Parkview. And I can speak for, I'm part of the MGBSA. I coach softball and baseball for the kids of our wonderful community. And I can speak and say that a lot of the parents are very, very concerned. They're very concerned about the overcrowding. And this is exactly why we want to come here to tell you guys that, our community, we want to make sure that we get the level and maintain that level of education for our kids. And I know as a fact that there will be more people that will want to come back to this community and bring their kids here and raise their kids in this in this area, that will continually generate and feed into our property values and also to the education and bring that diversity back home, right? So with that being said, I think that land, I work for a major company, a Fortune 100 company, but I could tell you that commercial real estate in that area might be well suited for that versus residential. And I think that, it can bring in a lot more tax revenue as well as opportunity for work, for employment, et cetera, and also to increase taxes that we need, right, to build better roads, to beautify our neighborhoods, et cetera. So with that being said, I residential is something that I would rather not talk about. I think commercial real estate is probably the best suited for this area, and also to the overcrowding. That, like I said, going back to that, we're very, very concerned as parents. I know over 30 or 40 parents that are concerned, and will probably speak out as well. So, thank you for your time. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you.
I can just comment that we are not against any level of office building, manufacturing. We just need to see who's going to pick up that property, and this TIF will help us do that. Yes, we've had individuals approach us, just as the resident indicated, for a townhouse development, for apartment development, and actually a mixed-use development. So we'll be looking at all of them and bring it back to this board for consideration. But we think forming this TIF will help the infrastructure in that area and will help that area move forward from a current vacant sites and underutilized sites in the village. Just some closing comments for the public hearing. We appreciate the board's support. Staff appreciates also our consultant who provides us with some good information, and we look to get approval from the board for the TIF, which is the financial planning for this, in the future. And an ordinance will be brought before you for your consideration. Bob, anything you'd like to add?
No, again, I think as we move forward here, I just want to stress that even if the board does approve the TIF, that does not mean you're approving any specific projects. Projects will be coming to you, whether it's residential or commercial, on a case-by-case basis.
Anything else, Ralph?
I think that's it. If we could close it, that'd be fine, Mayor.
Sure. We'll close the public hearing at exactly 7:30. Thank you very much. Thank you for the residents' comments as well. They were noted. Plan Commission reports, there are none tonight. Residents' comments, this is on agenda items only. Agenda items only. Hearing none. President's report. I do have one proclamation tonight. That's all I have under my business tonight. So I will do a proclamation whereas the Village of Morton Grove is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living in and visiting Morton Grove. And whereas fire is a serious public safety concern and homes are the locations where people are at greatest risk from fire, and smoke alarms sense smoke well before you can, alerting you to danger in the event of fire, in which you may have as little as 2 minutes to escape safely. And whereas working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in reported home fires in half, and Morton Grove residents should be sure everyone in the home understands the sounds of the alarms and knows how to respond. And whereas Morton Grove residents who have planned and practiced a home fire escape plan are more prepared and will therefore be more likely to survive a fire. And whereas Morton Grove residents will make sure their smoke and CO alarms meet the needs of all their family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. And whereas Morton Grove first responders are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of home fires and home fire injuries through prevention and protection education. And whereas the 2021 Fire Prevention Week theme, Learn the Sounds of Fire Safety, effectively serves to remind us it is important to learn the different sounds of smoke and carbon monoxide alarms. Therefore, I, Daniel D. Maria, do hereby proclaim October 3rd through the 9th, 2021 as Fire Prevention Week throughout this great village, and I urge all the people of Morton Grove to learn the sounds of fire safety for Fire Prevention Week 2021 and to support the many public safety activities and efforts of Morton Grove's fire and emergency services. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused to be affixed the seal of the Village of Morton Grove, Daniel P. DeMaria, Mayor. Other than that, I have no other business tonight. Clerk's report.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Staff reports. Village Administrator.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Corporate Counsel is absent with notice. I don't think she had anything for us, right? No. Thank you very much. Reports by trustees. Trustee Greer.
Thank you, Mr. President. I do have a second read, and this is on ordinance 21-07. This is approving a final plot of subdivision and accepting certain improvements for the Beckwith Crossing subdivision, which is located at 6729 and 6733 Beckwith Road. This will create 5 new lots of record for the property, for this property. So now I move to accept this this ordinance, 21-07.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Greer, seconded by Trustee Minks. Any discussions, questions, clarifications?
Yes, Your Honor.
Trustee Thill?
I have several questions.
Okay.
I got the answers to these questions this afternoon, but I want to ask them publicly so that the public knows that we're doing our due diligence on this project. My first question was, has the county signed off on this subdivision?
The subdivision plot will be given to the county for their record, and they will record it, and there's a section that they'll sign off on. But this board has to accept it first, being kind of boots on the ground for the project.
Okay. My second question is, are all the service lines in for the electric, the gas, and the water?
They are not onto the lots because we don't have final plans except for the one house that's already been constructed. So the utilities, there was a known location for those services to come into. But the other 3 lots that will propose to have residential structures on them, you don't know where the connections are going to be, so those have not been established, but will after there's plans for those sites.
And my third question is, and I have to ask this because 2 of my board members are all confused about it also, is there's only 3 addresses and 4 lots. Would you explain as to how we got that?
Well, the addresses conform to what's currently there. And there's an address plan that I checked with staff on, and it includes 4 addresses, and that'll span from, I have to turn my page here.
Is it 27,
So the
20?
proposed addresses will,
27, 29,
27,
27, 33.
and 31 and 33.
Yeah.
So there's 4 addresses that are there.
Right.
The confusing thing, thanks, Zoe. The confusing thing is the fact that there says 5 lots. So there's 6733, which is the house that's already there. The next one is 6731, which is a proposed lot moving to the east. The next lot moving to the east is 6729. The next lot moving to the east is 6727. That's the 4 proposed houses. The lot is, there's a sublot there, which is the detention and storm management area. And that will be jointly owned and maintained by the HOA for these 4 residential locations. So there is an addressing plan. It's already established. It's based on what we think is going to be there and what you're proposing. And it fits right into the village's addressing plan, and the bookmarks on either side are 6735 and 6725. So it fills in the gap.
And then the village is equal, all online with whatever the developer wants. The developer has met all of our criteria up to this point?
Yes,
Okay.
yes, it has been an arduous task, but
Yes.
the developer has done that.
I didn't want any language barriers in there.
No,
Okay.
we're good.
Any
From
more
engineering
questions?
to administration to zoning to plan review, we've accomplished what we need to do.
Thank you very much.
Any others?
Just a comment, so to reiterate, thank you, Mr. President. Ralph and Zoe. So to reiterate that, which was in our board notes, the 5th lot will be the storm water retention
Yes,
lot. So there will be 4 possible future
4
residential
residential units.
lots. Right.
Right, that's the plan.
Thank you for the clarification.
Any others? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Greer,
Aye.
Trustee Khan,
Aye.
Trustee Minks,
Aye.
Trustee Phil,
Aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Ordinance 21-07 passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
And I do have one more resolution. This is Resolution 21-60. This is authorizing a collective bargaining agreement between the Village of Morton Grove and the Fraternal Order of Police Lodge Number 135 from this past January 1, 2020 through December 31st of 2023. And I move that we accept this Resolution 21-60.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Greer, seconded by trustee Minks. Any discussions, questions, clarification? Hearing none, clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Khan,
Aye.
Trustee Minks,
Aye.
Trustee Phil,
This has been a very arduous journey, and I'm glad it's over, and I say aye.
Trustee Travis.
Aye.
Trustee Whitko.
Aye.
Trustee Greer.
And aye.
Resolution 21-60 passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you very
And
much.
Mr. President, I just have an informal a wishful happy birthdays to one of our fabulous employees. You actually happen to see Zoe walking across the hallway up here giving Ralph a little, so happy birthday, Zoe. I know you want to get home to your child and husband, so happy birthday from Trustee Greer and the Village Board.
Thank you. Happy birthday, Zoe.
And that certainly is the end of my report.
Thank you very much, trustee Greer. Trustee Khan?
I don't have any report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Trustee Minks?
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Thill?
No report.
Thank you. Trustee Travis?
Just a tiny bit of community relations business. The 11th Morton Grove Community Arts Performance will take place on Saturday, October 30th from 1 to 2 p.m. This fall's performance will focus on high school performers. That is the end of my report.
Thank you. Trustee Whitko?
Thank you, Your Honor. I have Resolution 21-61, authorizing a contract with Design Dwellings LLC for living space and kitchen renovation at Fire Station Number 4. This will authorize the village administrator to execute a contract with Design Dwelling for renovations to the living space and kitchen area of Fire Station 4. These areas were last remodeled in 1996. Village staff has determined that the kitchen and living area do not meet the needs of the employees working at the facility. Public Works Department developed a project plan and bid the renovation in conformance with the village's procurement requirements. Staff determined the lowest responsible bidder to be Design Dwellings of Chicago in the amount of $164,225. Staff then value engineered the project, negotiated with the bidder, and agreed upon a project cost of $143,759.48. And this contract has to conform to the requirements of the prevailing wage act. I move that we approve Resolution 21-61.
I'll second that.
Motion made by trustee Whitko, seconded by trustee Greer. Any discussion, questions, clarification?
I just have a question. My question is, I noticed that somebody FOIA'd this project. Why would somebody FOIA this project?
Some contractors are interested in understanding what bids were received. We get that from waste hauling contractors. They just want to know what everybody else did. And it's public information. And we
Okay.
can,
I just thought it was somebody trying to make trouble.
no, maybe, sometimes it is. And we worry about the same thing, but we need to provide them the information.
Thank you.
What they use it for
Yeah.
is up to them.
We have no problem doing so.
Yeah,
so.
we did the right things.
Okay.
Any others? Clerk, please call the vote.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Greer?
As long as I eat their first one is renovated, I say aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Resolution 21-61 passes 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you.
And I have one last announcement, another exciting event from the Environment and Natural Resources Commission and Public Works. It is our first Morton Grove Pumpkin Smash on Saturday, November 6th, from 10 a.m. till noon. It'll be at the north end of Harr Park, and a pumpkin smash is an effort by communities to divert pumpkins from landfills by providing a location for residents to drop off jack-o'-lanterns to be composted. So we hope everyone utilizes that, and it'll be a lot of fun. That is the end of my report.
Thank you, trustee Whitko. Any other business brought before the board tonight?
Can I make a comment?
Sure you can.
I sit on the Swank board, and I get their mailings all the time. And in the last 3 months, Morton Grove has got rebated back to them because of the recycling, $13,025.42. The reason I bring that number up is I want to just encourage people to continue to recycle and to pass the word on to other people. And I remember I had brought my milk jug up here, and I told you, you have to wash it out, put your lid back on it, and put it in the garbage. Don't smash it. It turns out that the value of that bottle is more than the aluminum. A ton of aluminum is less value than a ton of the plastic from the milk jugs. So continue to recycle. Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Thill. Presentation of warrants, trustee Minks.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll present the warrants this evening in the amount of $820,140.27. I move that we approve the warrants as presented.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Minks, seconded by trustee Thill. Any discussions, questions, clarification? Hearing none. Go ahead. Trustee Greer.
Excuse me, thank you, Mr. President, for interrupting. I just want to reiterate, just being on the board for the Morton Grove Days Commission, when you see the line item on this, and it happens not quite often, especially after our Labor Day celebration, that $9,498.41 it comes into the village, and the Morton Grove Days puts it back into the village's budget. So it's in, and then it's out. So the Morton Grove Days, that's their money, but the villages, like Hannah and the finance, they write those checks out. I think it's important that everybody, if they do happen to look at the fine print there. So thank you.
Thank you, trustee Greer. Anyone else? Clerk, calls the vote.
Trustee Thill?
Aye.
Trustee Travis?
Aye.
Trustee Whitko?
Aye.
Trustee Greer?
Aye.
Trustee Khan?
Aye.
Trustee Minks?
Aye.
The warrants pass 6-0, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Residents' comments? Any residents' comments? Joe? Yeah.
Good evening. I'm Joe Hedrick, resident of Morton Grove, and also the village liaison to the board. One thing, we talked about a birthday. We have an important birthday coming up of a member in our post who's reaching the milestone of 100. The gentleman is John Slater, who has many, many, many years of service to the village. Name a few, probably 50-plus years in scouting, many years with Friends of the Forest, Americanism with the Legion. He has been a commander. He's been a corporation president. He's also done many things. When we say the Civic Center, we're actually saying the Morton Grove American Legion Memorial Civic Center. The American Legion Memorial in the middle there was John's doing. There's an oak tree planted in the middle of the front yard. That's John's doing. There's so many things that so many people know him. We're going to have an event on 10/10, October 10th from 4 to 8. We're inviting, of course, the trustees, the village people, and any residents of the village that feel that they have something for John or want to just to say hello to him and greet him. John is getting in failing health these days, but he will be there. His son he's very hard. If he found out this was happening, he'd be very hard to get there. But his son guarantees me that he will attend. We will have some refreshments, and that'll be on the Americanism Committee of the Legion. John has been many years there, and I just taken over from him this year. The other thing I want to mention, because it's so few times that our schedule in the Legion and this second and fourth Mondays is usually a hard thing for us to do, is Veterans Day this year will be celebrated November 14th. It's the Sunday closest to the 11th, and we always have it on a Sunday. We will be doing our normal little parade and our presentations and honoring veterans. We have a lot of problems with the newest veterans. The 911 veterans is something that the Legion is getting very concerned about because so many of them have so many problems. And we're trying to reach out and get as many post-911 veterans in so that we can direct them through the VA and the Legion to get the proper help for them. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Any other residents' comments? Rudy Vilk.
Good evening, everybody. I give you my notice, and I hope it's easy to read to you. And I want to ask you, personal Mayor, personal Ralph, and I can see Teresa Hoffman-Listman. Previous session, Mr. Mayor told me, we give to Mr. Wilk answer. Me, Ralph, and Teresa Hoffman-Listman. It's mean I talking to you what I'm not received from him, from Teresa, but he said yes, he give me answer. Who is a liar? Mr. Mayor, can you told me like straight, Mr. Wilk, you are liar. Please, I wait for you. Comments now. Because you told me the same. I told you, you not give me writing down your answer, May 10, but when I told you many times, Teresa Hoffman-Listman not give me, Mr. Ralph sometimes give me answer, but many times he not give me answer for my questions. He told me something like this. What time is it? Monday. What is day today? 5:45. Sorry, I'm not understand this answer. Mr. Mayor, can you tell me, and in presence of these people, Mr. Wilk, you a liar, please? Oh, this is trouble. Okay, also, I give you information about my case. And I know sometimes residents have problem, and village have chance to punish him, but administration here in court. Who punished Mr. Mayor? Who punished Mr. Ralph? Who punished Teresa Hoffman-List when he have mistake?
1 minute
He
left.
told me by meeting, it's control job administration, it's a member of trustee. I ask you, why you not make it your job? Why you not control his job? And also, Mr. Greer, many times screaming to me something like this, and he continues make like this, and he working like
30
this.
seconds, Rudy.
Mr. Greer, I special to you, make it audio record next time. Be careful, please. Respect to people. You need to understand one important thing. People vote for you to make it service to people, respect to people.
10 seconds.
Even when somebody have mistake, explain to people, start to make it friendly to people. Not like village.
Time's up, Rudy.
Make to me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. I am going to make one comment in response to Mr. Vilk. I answered his questions. I met with the man more than one time. He had written questions. I answered his questions for him verbally. We've met. I respect all my residents. I work for all my residents. My door is always open. These are the same questions he keeps asking over and over again. We've addressed his questions with answers. He doesn't like the answers. He keeps asking the same questions. So with all respect, Rudy, the answer to your question is you are not a liar. You've asked me questions. I've answered them. That's the bottom line. I'm continuing to do this week after week, every 2 weeks. So with that being said, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion moved by Trustee Mink. Motion's been made by Trustee Mink, seconded by Trustee Whitko. All in favor?
Aye.
This meeting is now adjourned.